I joined the Marines back in 2005. I wound up getting fat while I was in there. I decided to make some changes, and in doing so, I had to cut it again. Back in the late 2000s, I was in the Marines and got fat. I decided to make some changes, but I had no idea where to start. So I spent a couple of years researching, learning different things that work and what doesn't. And it really took me about 5 years to figure it out. And during that process, I decided I wanted to help people who were in the same spot as me, and that's pretty much where I got started on that front. The best thing for motivation is action. Doing the workout motivates you to finish. The results you get from finishing your workouts keep you wanting to start them. And my daily ritual, I wake up usually around 8. I train about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I usually don't eat until about noon to 2. The type of diet I do is a keto/carnivore diet. Keto, you wind up eating higher fat, less protein. Carnivore diet is just all red meat, fish, and it works out pretty well because you wind up eating less because of how dense the fat and protein are. I usually don't eat more than 1 to 2 times a day, daily. The thing I enjoyed most about training is getting to know different people, their different whys for starting out, and what makes them tick, pretty much. One of my greatest successes as a trainer is over the course of, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks, taking a class of about 50 people, training them for the Spartan race, and waiting at the finish line for every last one of them to finish, which they did. And I had a bottle of Jameson waiting for them. And to get people comfortable with my class, I like to reinforce the fact that whether it's a time class, or there's something specific that we're aiming for, like laps or hill sprints, everything is done at their own pace. I do sometimes have competitive classes, but for the most part, the purpose is to do the best that you can do and to get better at whatever it is. If it takes them an hour to do a workout and then 40 minutes to do 2 weeks later, you got better, and that's the entire purpose. My focus isn't on who finishes first, it's on the effort and form. And the way I usually set up my class is that I'd like to have a theme for each class for different things we work on. A lot of things that I focus on is different areas that people generally get weaker with as they age, like pulling type exercises, kettlebell swings, basically working the muscles that do the exact opposite of what we do when we sit and type on a computer. So I'll have a lot of rowing and swing movements worked into every class. And I do a lot of research for both nutrition and exercise. I follow a ton of doctors, a ton of high-end coaches. I read all the studies that they post. I also like to read things that I agree with as well as things that I disagree with so that I can form my own opinion. And if I had to pick a couple of exercises that'd be beneficial for everyone and a couple of things that people could do every workout if they're pinched for time, it would be carrying heavy weight and walking with it, kettlebell swings, and rowing. For older populations, I like to incorporate exercises that forces people to get on and off the ground. And the type of training I do for races is, if it's a running race, I just run. I increase my distance by about 10% a week, 10% for the full week's worth of miles, and 10% on top of the longest run of the week. For training for things like Spartan race, I add exercises into it in the middle of the run, and kind of just like same thing I do with the older populations, I do exercises that forces you to get on the ground and off the ground, since that's the majority of what you do during something like a Spartan race.